Hey guys, welcome back to Disney in Detail, and today we are talking all about Magicbands. I'm going to try and break this down into a question and answer kind of format just to try and make sure that I don't miss anything out. Obviously, if there's any questions that you have at the end, please post them in the comments and I will try and get back to you. So I'm going to get straight into it because there's quite a lot to cover. So first of all, what is a Magicband? This is what they look like. So just to give you a bit of history, Magicbands brought out around 2.5 years ago. I think they did trial it for quite a long time before it was properly introduced. And it's all part of the My Disney experience as a whole. You obviously have your account and then you have the Magicband. The new FastPass Plus was brought in, so it was all kind of brought in together. And it replaced the old Key to the World. You can still get these, you don't have to have a Magicband, but this is what you would have had before for opening your hotel room door. You would have this for if you had dining plan, charging purchases back to your room, things like that. But now you would use your Magicband to do all of those things. So this is basically what it looks like. It's adjustable, and the coloured part you can actually pull out from the grey part if you want to make it a bit smaller. They are completely waterproof, so you can wear these in the shower, in the pool, and everything like that. You can customise your Magicband on My Disney Experience, so you can choose the colour. Obviously you can see there's several different colours here, and they also have this grey one which is kind of the standard one, so I believe if you don't customise it, this is the one that you'll get. So most importantly, what does it do? So the Magicband has several different functions. Let's just go through a few of them. And you would also use this for charging purchases back to your room, and also for your photo pass pictures or memory maker. You can tap the band at various photo locations. And if you have Disney Dining Plan, then you use this to scan in the restaurants to use your credits. And on that note, all of the Disney Dining Plan credits are all pooled together for your party. So if one person wanted to go up to get things at a counter service location, for example, they could just scan the band and get the food for everybody. So you don't need to all go up individually to use your dining plan credits. And also just to note, if you are using your band for charging items back to your room, you can only do that if you're staying on site at a Disney Resort hotel. There's no facility for charging items using your band if you're not staying at Disney. So next up, how do you get a band? So if you are staying at a Disney Resort, you get given one of these for free, and it will all be tied in with your My Disney Experience account. So once you have that set up and you've linked your resort reservation, you will then see, if you go to customize my Magicbands, there will be a tab there for that, and you can choose your color, and you can also personalize the name on the back there. It doesn't have to be your actual name, you can have a nickname or whatever you want to do. So that's where you actually customize your bands. So if you live in the US, you can get your Magicbands shipped to your address before your vacation, and you'll have your Magicbands then before you go. And if you live anywhere outside the US, they're not able to ship your Magicbands. You will need to pick them up at the resort when you check in, and they'll be there waiting for you, so it's really easy, but you can't get hold of them ahead of time. And just to point out as well, if you're staying at the Walt Disney World Swan or Dolphin Hotel, you don't get a Magicband for free at those resorts. It's just at the Disney owned and operated resorts. And the other way to get a free Magicband is if you are an annual pass holder. And with that, again, if you live within the United States, you can get it shipped to your home address. And again, if you live outside the US, you would put your shipping address as your Disney resort, and then when you get there, you can pick it up at check-in. If you're staying in a villa or in a hotel outside of Disney and you are trying to ship your annual pass holder band, if you're outside the US, you would have to try and get it shipped to the villa or the hotel. But you would need to make sure that the hotel or villa have the facility to receive the package if you're going to do that. So if you're not staying at a Disney resort and you're not an annual pass holder and you want to get yourself a Magicband, you can actually purchase these from any of the stores at Disney, in the Disney resorts, downtown Disney. You can buy them pretty much everywhere. So you have these regular coloured ones, which are $12.99 plus tax. And they also have a big range of special character bands, and those are around $22.99. And you also have bands which are available during special parties and events, like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. There's usually one for the Christmas party, things like that. And unless things have changed when you're buying the bands at special events, you do have to link your ticket there and then when you purchase it. You can't purchase it and take it away to give to someone else or anything like that. That's to obviously stop people from buying them and then selling them on. So unless that's changed, I'm not aware that it has, you will need to link it up there and then when you actually purchase it. So if you've already purchased your Disney tickets, you'll probably have something that looks like this. Obviously it won't have annual pass holder, but pretty much looks like that. When you have linked your park admission to My Disney Experience, then when you come to link your Magicband, the whole lot will link up together. So on the back of the Magicband, there'll be a number, you put that into My Disney Experience, and that will link everything together so that you can use your band as your park admission. So how does it work? Now, the band itself works in a couple of different ways. There is a battery inside, which there's a lot of speculation as to how long it lasts. Most people say around 2 to 3 years. The battery is only used for certain situations and not for most of the uses of the Magicband. So basically you can use this, for example, if you go to Be Our Guest restaurant for breakfast or lunch, which is a counter service option. You can order your food as you go in. When you then go and take a seat, you can choose whichever table you want to sit at. They will automatically bring the food to your table, and the reason they can do that is because of the short range transmitter, which is what the battery is for. So that will only last 2 to 3 years, and there's certain situations with photo pass pictures and memory maker where that also uses that short range transmitter. So that's what the battery is for. The regular use for the bands, as in using it to get into the parks, using it at fast pass locations, everything like that, does not require the battery. So in that way the Magicband will go on forever. There's just a couple of instances where it uses the battery, and obviously after 2 to 3 years it may not work for that purpose, so just be aware of that. Another thing to bear in mind, once your Magicband is linked, it can't be transferred to somebody else. So for me, obviously on various different trips I have all of these bands. If I was then taking a trip with another friend who didn't already have a Magicband and I was staying off site, I wouldn't be able to give them this one to use. Once it's linked, it is linked to you. It can be deactivated in instances where you've lost it or something like that, but it can't be transferred. So once you have your Magicband, if you come back on another trip, say 6 months or a year later, you can absolutely reuse the band. A good way to look at it, with My Disney Experience, the band itself doesn't actually have anything stored on it. It is linked to your My Disney Experience, but it doesn't actually contain any information. What it does is basically reads the information from your My Disney Experience account. So every time you book an ADR or a fast pass, or you have dining plan booked, you have a resort reservation, anything like that, the band will know that information from your My Disney Experience. So that's kind of how the whole process works. So if you book some fast passes for a particular day and then you cancel them and change them for something else, the band will just work with whatever it is that you've done, because it is taking that information from your My Disney Experience account. So Disney will allocate a new Magicband for every resort stay that you have. So if you get to the point where you've got several, you've got all the different colours that you wanted, you do have the option to decline the band. Some people just prefer to, you know, they're happy to just have one. They don't feel the need to get all the different colours. So, you know, if you're happy with your one band, you can decline other ones on My Disney Experience so that you don't end up having loads of different ones. On that note, you can have several different bands allocated to your account. So all of these are linked up to My Disney Experience, so I can wear whichever one I want on any day that I'm in the parks. In terms of whether there's a limit to how many bands you can have linked to your account, there's a lot of conflicting information on this. Some people have said they've got loads and they're all linked up and they all work. Other people have said it's maybe 6 or 7 that you can have linked. It doesn't seem clear. So if you are planning on collecting them or getting lots of different ones, it might be worth just asking guest relations to see what the latest is on that, because there does seem to be a lot of conflicting information. So in terms of dining plan, all of the credits are linked to your band, as we were saying before. When you actually come to pay for your meal, the server has a handheld scanner, so you can literally tap your band and it will deduct the correct amount of credits. And then if you wanted to, you can also charge the tip back to your room, or you could do that separately in cash. So that's how that works. And also, if you don't have dining plan and you just want to pay for your meal using your band and charge it back to the room, same thing again, you would just tap on the handheld scanner that they bring and do it that way. So on to split stays, and this seems to be an area where there's a lot of questions. So this would be if you are going to Disney, say for 2 weeks, and you have 1 week at one resort and 1 week at another resort. So you would get allocated a Magicband for each of the different resorts for each person. So you would get 2 in that instance. Again, as I said before, you can decline the second one if you are happy to just keep the same one. But most people do like to get different colours, so you can just customise both on My Disney Experience. And your park admission, charging back to the room, you would just probably have to set that up again at the second resort. But everything else in terms of fast passes, things like that, your park tickets, that would just work as it would on both of the bands, because everything, as we said before, is linked to the My Disney Experience account, and the band is just taking the information from there. So both bands will work, whichever one you wear. The only thing that is a little bit of a grey area is whether or not both bands will open your hotel room door. In theory, I think they should, but my experience has been different. So I stayed at the boardwalk and was given this Magicband. I stayed there for 4 nights. I then went on to Bay Lake Tower and was given a second Magicband, and this one would not open the door to my Bay Lake Tower room. I think if you ask at the desk, then they will set it up so that all of your bands will work. Other people have said it should automatically happen, or that in their experience it did automatically happen, but it didn't for me. So just be aware of that. Maybe when you're checking in to your second resort, just ask them, will all of my bands work to open the hotel room door? And also just remember, if you are doing a split stay where you're staying part of the time at a Disney resort and the other part somewhere else off site, your band will still work for Memory Maker and getting you into the parks and everything else. But in terms of charging items back to the room or dining plan credits that have expired, obviously that will all finish, and the band will then just work for getting you into the parks, your fast passes and your Memory Maker. One other thing to just mention in terms of charging to your room and when you're using your band to pay in restaurants, when you actually check into your resort, they will have you set up a PIN number. It's really important that you remember that, because you won't be able to use your band to purchase things unless you have the PIN. So you will need to just scan the band and then put in the PIN. So just make sure you have that set up. On one of my resort stays, they asked me if I wanted to have the facility to charge back to the room. I said I did, and she set it up, but she didn't set up a PIN. And obviously then I tried to use it and I wasn't able to. So just make sure that they do set up a PIN number for you. So on the subject of Magical Express, which is the free airport transfer service if you're staying at a Disney resort, if you have your Magicband already, either if you live in the US and you've had it shipped to your home before the trip, or if you've been before and you already have your Magicband, when you've booked your Magical Express transfer, you could use your Magicband to scan at the airport when you get to the Magical Express desk, and that will recognise your booking. Don't worry if you don't have your band, they still have the information, you'll still be able to use the transfer service. It's just an added thing that if you have the band, you can scan that at the Magical Express desk. Just another thing to note, you will notice Magicbands for sale on eBay and places like that. I have had people ask whether or not it's safe to buy those. I personally wouldn't, because you never know whether a band has been already linked to somebody else, and then you might spend the money and it doesn't work. Obviously you can purchase these in the parks and you don't have to link them up straight away, so a lot of them may be legitimate, but you just never know, and for me it's not worth wasting your money. You can just pick these up at the check-in desk as soon as you get there, so in my experience I wouldn't bother doing that. And if you're staying off site and obviously you want to get your Magicband as soon as possible, there are stores as soon as you get into the park on your very first day that you'll be able to just go in and buy one of these. So I would definitely get it at Disney. I wouldn't buy anything like that on eBay personally. And just a final point to note, if you lose your band or somehow break it, If you go to guest services, they can deactivate the band and you can get another one. Disney's official line on whether they'll replace it, they say in some circumstances they'll be able to give you another one on a case-by-case basis. It sounds as if in certain circumstances, if you've lost it, they may replace it. As I understand it, you would get the grey one. They definitely say they can't replace character ones or special ones that you have. If you lose those, they might replace it, but it would be with one of these. So just be really careful. You know, try not to keep taking it on and off for any reason. They're very comfortable to wear, so just be aware of losing it. In terms of getting them mixed up, if there's several of you staying in one hotel room, that's the purpose of customizing it with your name on the back, so that if more than one person in your party has the same colour, you don't get them mixed up. So that's fairly straightforward. So yeah, just be aware of that. If you do lose it, go to guest services. There's nothing very drastic that anyone could do with your band, because when you get into the park, you need to use your fingerprint, and if you're purchasing anything, you need your PIN number. So don't panic if you lose it, but just go to guest services as soon as you can, and hopefully they might be able to give you another one, but you may have to pay, or there may be a fee, so just be aware of that. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If there's anything that I didn't answer that you have questions about, then please do ask in the comments below. I'm also going to link any videos below that might be related to this video that I think you might be interested in, so definitely check those out as well. If you enjoyed this, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to catch all of my videos. I do upload every week, so if you don't want to miss anything, then definitely hit the subscribe button. As always, I've put all my social media links below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!